Hi there, I am Becky Amble, and I have another little fun thing to show you on ChatGPT. As you might know, ChatGPT has really improved their image capabilities, and there's some fun things you can do. So let's go right over there and take a look and see what I have for you today. And it is a little bit slower than it has been in the past because of all the iterations that it goes through. Um, and because it's a little bit slower, I just was playing around with this while I was doing some other work, and I would go put in a prompt, and then I would go back to do my other thing, and then I'd let it sit for a while and come back and check. So I didn't really even keep track of the time. Anyway, here is my son's cute dog, Theodore. And I took this picture of him the last time my son was back in town. And so I said, take this photo of my son's dog, Theo. Use your image skills and keep it as a photo. Add an inspector hat like Sherlock Holmes wore. And what I did with this is I just did it in steps. And you certainly could do it in one prompt. Might be better, but I kind of wanted to see what it was going to do and wasn't exactly sure. So anyway, here is the first iteration. I'll show you that. There's Theo with his hat, inspector hat. I thought he looked kind of cute. And then I said, now put a monocle on him. There you go. There's the little monocle. I don't need to switch over to the photo mode. There you can see that. And again, I took it one step at a time and I kept going back and forth. Then I said, now put him in an old style library where he could do research, have a table with books open and some newspapers spread on it. So there he is, busy being the detective. And then I said, lighten up the background so it's not so dark and add a magnifying glass to the table. So there's the books and the paper and the magnifying glass. And yeah, lightened up the background, kept it basically the same. And then I said, please give him back the tweed type hat because I didn't like the fact that they changed the hat on me. And they sort of fixed it, sort of didn't. So I thought, okay, good enough. Now I said, take the dog with the tweed hat, put on the monocle, place him in a street in London in the evening as he is searching for his bad guy. Be sure to have at least one old style street lamp. The street in London has old classical buildings, maybe a blue hue to the evening scene with light from the street lamp as he approaches. So this was kind of a little bit of a bizarre one. I kind of like it, but then I thought, oh, that's not where he would have a um, magnifying glass, I don't think, hanging out of his mouth. I thought maybe he was going to have a cigar until I looked at it more closely. And I said, perfect, get rid of the magnifying glass and the book. Oh, yeah, down here on the very edge of the paper, there's a book. I said, keep the rest. So then they came back with this, which I thought was pretty cute. And at one point here, see his mouth is open? Now, when I had him do this, they closed his mouth, still looks like him. And then, okay, so of course we have to keep playing around with it. And I said, great, now make him about half that size in the street. Because I thought, I didn't really want this close up. That's kind of good, but I didn't think I really wanted it to be so that you couldn't see the buildings. Anyway, so there we go. And there we are, back with the book and a table. So we had to get rid of that. And he seems to have almost a glass eye instead of a monocle. So I said, get rid of the books and the table, fix the monocle. There we go. And he looks pretty doggone smart. And then I said, can you put a trench coat on him? And then add another light. So there he is with a trench coat. I wanted to just show you this because it's just whatever your imagination can do. Come up with things. Maybe I'll make a post out of that yet. I don't know. It could be something about searching for your target market or researching and looking for AI in all the strange places. I don't know what it is, if it'll be anything. And so just give it a try and understand you can upload photos to ChatGPT or other images that you have and tell it to work with those. So it's a great new iteration that it's come up with. Let me know if you try anything. Would love to see anything that you're doing and tell me how it goes. Thanks. We shall see you next time.